Hello, and welcome back to my YouTube channel called Be Intentional. Please like and share. I try to do something often in telling a story or whatever that might be and shed some light on the message that I'm giving. So I hope you enjoyed this time today. If you're new to my Be Intentional channel, welcome. Thank you. Make sure you share and like it. Subscribe to it. If you're a returning guest, well, you're not a guest if you're returning, but if you're returning, thank you. I want to share something that I posted on my social media page. It was a picture of me when I was around, I want to say fourth grade, so in elementary school, maybe third grade, let's just say fourth grade. And I was a majorette. I'm pictured next to my teacher, Mrs. Berry, who I loved very much. She was an awesome teacher, but she wanted to start a baton twirling club, and we were called the Majorettes. I was a child at the time. I was very quiet. I was shy. I was an introvert, and I am still one to my heart. I was bullied starting in kindergarten and all the way up to starting my sophomore year because that's when I started wearing contacts. So, if you know anything about back then, the 70s, early 80s, glasses was not a hip thing. And people were mean, people were cruel. Some of my classmates were. And so I was very, very just insecure and to myself. The interesting thing was I had wonderful friends. I mean, I really had some good friends who stood by me, who protected me, who, if people tried to be mean, they would say something about that. So I've always had wonderful friends around me. Let me just say that. So that did help the experience. Back to the majorette story. I keep that picture in my kitchen because while I'm cooking, I always look at it because that is how Christy started. This Christy. That's where it all started. It started with me being and wanting to be a majorette. I remember the announcement in school. I remember it was a lot of talk about it and all the hip girls wanted to be a part of it. I was too nervous. I was too scared. I was too in my own head, and I was not trying to be a part of something like that because I didn't think that I could. Bullied, remember, talked about all my life, looked different, wore glasses. And if you notice the picture, I wasn't the only one that had glasses on, but probably the long-standing one. And I just was very nervous and scared, and fear overtook me. But I had a girlfriend that talked me into doing it because she wanted to do it. And so I told my mom about it, and she was like, "Yeah, baby, you sure can." And I remember trying out for it, learning the routine, and I made it. I saw the list. My name was on the list, people. Can you believe that? I was so happy and excited. You don't know, it brought so much joy to my life at that time because I was stepping out doing something that I wouldn't normally do. That was the start of stepping out doing things that I wouldn't normally do. And so my life started there with that. Disappointments came with that. One major disappointment with that was I could not compete. So we were a competing team, and we were going to, so we were scheduled to go for the first competition. And I remember coming down with the flu. I even remember getting dressed because I was really going to play it off and still go, but I was so sick. My mother told me I could not go. She had to call Mrs. Berry to let her know that I would not be coming because I came down with the flu. And I remember crying. I remember being so hurt. It broke my heart. I couldn't believe the first major thing that I was doing. I couldn't do it. And so that broke my heart. I was still a part of the team though, and then graduated from elementary school, going into middle school at the time. And so I just remember that that experience was something that I held on to for things that I wanted to do moving forward. Middle school, I was active in middle school. I was a part of different competitions as it related to writing, and I was a poet. And so I remember being a part of the Gwendolyn Brooks poetry contest, and I was a finalist for that. I remember even speaking about some of my poetry at the time, and I was very nervous doing it. Now, mind you, I was nervous doing everything. I was nervous, and fear rode me like, man, the first expression I could think of was something I can't really share, but fear rode me very, very close. But I pushed through it, and I was able to do all the things that I would want to do. I remember being a part of the volleyball team in middle school, trying out for that, winning that. I was an underhand server, and so that was my niche. That's what I was known for back then. I remember playing in competitions, and I hated being at the front. I didn't like the front, and remember, I still wore glasses. I didn't like the front. I hated I was so nervous about that front. Every time we rotated, I was like, no. And I remember getting hit by the ball on my face with the glasses that went flying somewhere, and I just was done. My life was so over. I was so done. And I remember my parents were there, and they were rooting me on. I remember, the team that I was with, they were just amazing. And so, that middle school had its things. And then high school freshman year was a big, huge thing for me because my sister was a part of that school, but she was going to be a junior. And so I knew I didn't have a lot of time being with my sister, but she didn't want me around anyway because my sister was very into herself at the time. But I still carried that introvertish type of personality with me in high school. Met some wonderful friends, became a part of various clubs. I remember trying out for the cheerleading team. I made it to, I want to say, the second round, but I didn't finish it because I was like, I don't want to do this. And then I remember that was the beginning stage of me doing public speaking. I was a part of this business organization being in high school, and as I matriculated, so as I was a sophomore, I started wearing contacts, and I started feeling more of, now I don't have the glasses binding me down. Now I am just free as a bud. And I remember people not remembering what I looked like freshman year, coming back sophomore year. The people that used to make fun of me, they couldn't recognize who I was, and they was talking to me like nothing ever happened. There's a lot of stories around that whole thing, but that's the story for another day. So as I became an upperclassman, I was a part of this business group, and I'm saying all of this for a reason. So just be a little patient. I was a part of this business group, and a part of the business group, I was a part of a work study. So I would go work at a major corporation, which was a Acme Steel company, and I got engrossed in that world of corporate life. And so I was the assistant to the assistant of the public relations director, which was right next to the company attorney, which was right down the hall from the president and the VPs of the company. And so, mind you, I knew everybody. I knew their secretaries, their administrative assistants, and it was just a wonderful learning curve for me, but a great opportunity to publicly speak because I decided that I wanted to try out for this state competition of public speaking. And I had to write or speak on something that had to do with national, international topics. And so I will never forget, my topic was United States manufacturing competitiveness. And I was looking at China as the opposing side of creating different things and how they were always a step ahead and blah blah. And so it was just this whole thing. I remember this paper. I had the public relations director help me with this paper, but had to memorize a lot of it. And I remember I went for the competition, and I made it to the finals. So I made it to this. I did the district, made it, did regional, made it to the state, and I remember coming in second place for the state competition. So because I didn't make first place, I couldn't go to the national competition. But what joy! Like, it all started as a majorette. This is my point, because this being a majorette really helped shape who I have become and still what I'm becoming. As an introvert, being bullied for years, which bullying was not a big, huge topic back then, but being bullied, I had a choice. I had a choice to either stay in that vein of introvertedness, of not coming out of my comfort zone, of not trying things, being within myself in my own head, versus what I did do, which was step out, do something new and challenging, something you've never done before. Is it scary? Yes. Does fear want to attach itself to you? Yes, but that's a whole mindset thing, right? I've learned so much from being a majorette to even in high school being on a flag team and the first inaugural flag team. Like, this was the first inaugural majorette. Being a public speaker, I carried that on throughout my career, throughout my schooling, just doing things that I've never done. It's something to that. And so I encourage you to do something, or if you're toggling between doing something and not doing something, and you know that opportunity to do something is a great opportunity, do it. Like Nike, just do it, which is still a major theme, logo, slogan today. Slogan, just do it. And I just did it, and I continue to still do it. I would not allow myself to rest in complacency. I've never been that person. And I had a girlfriend of mine ask me one time, this was years ago, and she was like, why are you going back to school? Or why do you want to do that? Or why do you always have to do things that is challenging? And I answered her and said, because it's good for me. And she was like, well, I'm fine just being where I am, working where I've been working for years. Like, life is good. Like, I could still do what I do and still flow how I can flow. Like, I don't need to have that. And I said, yeah, and that's your preference. That's your decision. My decision has been more, has been experiences of a lifetime, has been shaping me, growing me. That hard thing that you have to press into and you have to lean into and do. To think about that, to think about all of those times that I did that. Public speaking is not easy. But I remember my first national public speaking moment that I petitioned to speak on a topic called building office morale. This was the early 2000s. And it was a national organization. I didn't go to the state. I didn't go to regional. I went right to national. I'm like, I want to present this. And I wanted to present it because I noticed, as an introvert, we are great observers. I noticed that the work-life situation, depending on what the various stress levels are to the job, could bring down office morale. And if you don't have the right leadership to help encourage that and help build that in a way, yeah. Anyway, that's what I did. And I remember getting approved for it. I remember my first, it was 2 time slots that I had to speak on it twice. And the first one, it was a room of, I want to say 50 nicely could fit in. I had standing room only. I want to say no, the room could probably fit about 80. I had standing room only. There were no seats. There were people all around the walls. And it said a lot about the time then of how popular that topic was. And it also said to me, girl, you got this. Just do it. Just do it. I remember getting the evaluations from that workshop, and the evaluations overall was positive, was good. There were some that were critical. And I kind of, why do we get so stuck on the bad stuff? So I kind of stepped back a little bit, but then I was like, no, let me see what they're saying, and let me see if that is worth me making changes to how I present in the future. And I did take that and I did correct some things, and I was able to still speak statewide, nationwide for the organization that I bid it for, and other things and other organizations and other people. So that picture was monumental in my life. And this is the first time I'm telling this story to anybody, and even showing that picture on the large scale that I've shared it on, which is Facebook and probably Instagram. But I just want to speak life to you and say, do that. Whatever that is, do it. Don't be so much in your head. What's the worst that can happen? You tried it, it didn't work. Or you did it and there were some things, some hard knocks. It's okay. Did you learn from it? Did it help you to grow and be a better person? Did being a majorette, did I know anything about how that was going to shape my life moving down years and years and years later? Absolutely not. It didn't come to me actually until last week. But I knew I had to speak on it because I know it's a lot of people. It's a lot of you that's probably watching this that's debating and vacillating between two different things of choices that you need to do. If it's benefiting you, if it's a great opportunity, if it's something that you don't think will come across again, jump into it. I moved to Lincoln, Nebraska. Never would have thought. Being an executive director, worked a lot of great and wonderful positions in my life. This type of leadership is different. Did I, and I experienced a lot in this position, but I'm still experiencing things, and I'm still leaning into some hard and challenging things still to this day. Still to this day. Lean into it. Press, because after the press and the leaning into it, you're going to look back at it, on it, and you're going to be like, I did that. Celebrate it. Celebrate the good, the bad, the ugly. Have the right people around you to be your wall of influence, to be the people that can help push you into that, and really encourage you to be your best and do your best and reach for those things that might be unreachable to somebody else, and just challenge yourself to just say, I want to do it. Hear that small voice that speaks to you and say, try it, do it. There's a reason for that. And all the while, in all of the different things that I went into, it's because I heard it, I saw it, and I did it. I stepped out of something that was so comfortable and had great reasons not to do it. And now look at me. And this is only the beginning. Still, it's only the beginning to something wonderful. So lean into that hard thing, step into what challenged you, and just go forth and be fabulous in it. Learn from it and know that it's only making you better, wiser, smarter, more beautiful and handsome. It will shape you in a way that it needs to shape you. Have a wonderful evening and the rest of your week. I hope you had a wonderful Memorial's weekend and that you get a lot of that football into the plan, because those games were amazing this weekend and yesterday. But this is the Be Intentional channel. Like it, subscribe to it, share it, and I look forward to seeing you again later. Bye.